And 3, 2, 1, action!
This is obviously, a story in which we take big swings, and some of those are violent, some of those are the way we tell the story. We go off on Harley's private adventure for 15 minutes in the middle of the movie. That's not something you normally do in a big movie. But it is about balancing. Is this something that I'm doing just because it's only because I'm breaking a rule, or am I doing it because it serves the movie in some way? And for me, I'm always serving the story. I'm always serving the film. I'm always serving the character. So if something outlandish happens or something gory happens, it's in the service of the film itself. It's not just for itself to exist because I can say, oh, look at this gory stuff I can do, or look at this odd, plot structure I can do. It's got to be fun for the audience. It's always got to be something that invites people in, not something that pushes people away.
James brought in some incredible actors, and there were some great people from the first film, and we all just gelled and had so much fun with it. The spirit and the vibe that we had on set, it was, there was a lot of pranks, a lot of silliness going on. It seeped into the movie, and we just felt like we were allowed to be silly little children playing around with each other.
I've had once or twice a reputation for being a practical joker, and I'm actually not. I'm not a practical joker. Practical jokes really are at someone's cost. There's a high cost to someone, right? I will do overt displays to honor someone in some way, shape, or form. And in this particular case, I had a couple of shirts made up of James Gunn's face. Now, it would be one thing if it was like a small face, but it was like the face. It encompassed the entire shirt, kind of top to bottom. It's jarring. It's jarring.
There's some stars in this movie, like, Margot, Idris, Cena, Joel. Like, there's some real heavy hitters in there, and I think it's like DC's biggest budget movie, and you could tell by some of the sets they built and the costumes and just like everything. I've never been excited for a fitting before.
My initial feelings when I read the script was, I need to read this again. I was like, okay, what had just happened? When I read the script, it did not disappoint. It was like, that's why I had to read it twice. I was like, okay, this is going to be exciting.
I grew up on all they would try to, I'm not glorifying it, it's a horrifying experience. So when you actually see what a guy looks like when they're shot, it's like, holy. Whereas James will set it up in a way that, A, the guy deserved to be shot, and it's in a comical situation. Like, you know what I mean? He slips in a bathtub and falls on his shotgun, and like that kind of a thing.
It has a sort of slightly nostalgic, if nostalgia is the right word for something that's a little bit uncomfortable, 70s kind of vibe. But at the same time, he has such a vivid imagination that he's actually, I think, quite an old-fashioned filmmaker in the sense that he's like an auteur. He just has a very distinctive worldview, and you just get to go inhabit that worldview for a few months if you're lucky, as I was.
There are so many details, so many little jokes that sometimes you don't catch them at the first time, but then at the second time that you watch, you understand once, or you notice another thing. It's so amazing. I believe this will be a movie that people will want to watch at least once a year or something.
When I initially met with James and he said, we're going to cast you as Peacemaker, my next question was, how much do you want me to learn? I thought Peacemaker was more like an angular drill sergeant sort of character. And he stopped and said, no, this guy is just a really scumbag Captain America, like a broy scumbag Captain America. I often tell people in the WWE, if you can describe your character in one sentence with as little words as possible, people will get it. And his description of douchey broy Captain America. Okay, I can swing that, I got it.
John is my guy. I love John. He loves to steal a scene. Sorry, did I say steal a scene? Sorry, I didn't mean that. He loves to put his best into a scene. But he's a good guy. We had a great rapport, which, essentially James really, stirred up. So it really lived on on camera as well.
Idris is I was talking about this with a couple of my close friends. He's the coolest looking and sounding guy, I think, ever in the history of like men. Like, that's like a man, you know. Like, I just started watching Luther and did a deep dive into all of his stuff, and he's just so incredible. I was just stoked to be in a scene with him, and during one of the takes, he like actually scared me. He wasn't supposed to ever interact with me. I was just supposed to be like, you know, a dick and walk by. And during one of the scenes, he like grabbed my arm and like shook me, and I got like really scared. And when they yelled cut, everybody started laughing. They were like, the whole entire cast and crew started laughing, because I was like, I almost like my pants, because I was actually scared. He's just so good at acting. So it was cool. I get to tell people I was in a scene with Idris Elba. It's pretty awesome.
He's such a misfit. He's like a shark out of water. Can it be worse? I've been lucky. I was born with a kind of a different voice. And quite often, this is where the director doesn't get the credit. They're in the recording room. So if you say hand, or you go, no, hand. You see what I mean? It's almost foolproof in a sense, only I could mess it up. The table was laid out there, only I could spill the food. So it's wonderful. Plus, the dialogue, that's my kind of screenplay. 1, 2, 10 words, very good.
What the? My gosh, what made me want to do this particular film? First of all, number one, working with James, because I work with James for a reason. A, he's got incredible ideas, incredible vision. B, I just trust it. I trust him. He loves his job, and he's really, really good at it. You participate in a project, you just come out looking great. People give you all this credit for the hard work. All the hard work he's already done by the time you get there. That's a sweet deal. It's like James handing out candy all the time.
I've been told that I know Mr. Gunn better than anyone, but I don't think anyone really knows Mr. Gunn completely. When he asks me to join in, there's no real answer, because the question is silly. She doesn't even need to ask me.
When you get to work with James Gunn on a superhero movie, it's kind of like getting work with Dr. Dre with making a hip hop album.
You're never doubting James's vision at any moment, and that's rare. It's rare with directors. You know, we're all here to kind of learn from each other and hopefully make it as positive experience as we can and reach for the kind of best version. But James just kind of leads with passion and brings his sense of humor to everything, and that makes it a very easy work day.
He's a real director. A lot of people are not. They think they are. They read a couple of novels and, oh, I'm the new Hitchcock. No, you're not. So to him, it is fun, and it's very unusual. Believe me, trust me. I mean, most directors, including myself, it's a horror. You do it out of necessity, or they do it out of like, oh, I'm the director.
James Gunn's really is a director that loves to feel part of his team. You know, he's not a director that sits in his tent and just lives there. He likes to come out and make sure he's part of the crew. He's doing, you know, he's doing PA work, he's doing costume work, he's doing actor, and what that does is bring a sort of like a real sort of team, family, a squad.
It's really exciting because it resonates in the entire film. You see all over, not just with the actors, but with the entire crew, and how much relaxed and fun, but also hardworking everybody gets.
Well, a lot of times you see movies being made and, you know, you look at, oh, there's great costumes, but the production design doesn't really look like it's in the same movie, or things don't seem to be integrated from the different department. And as important as I am to this movie, so are all of our department heads, our production designers, our Beth Mickle, our costumer, Juliana Markovsky, Dan Sudik, our VFX guy. And so I start very early making sure all these departments are in communication, because it isn't like there's distinct lines between the different departments. There's some things where one thing ends and the other thing starts, and other things where they kind of mix together. Making Bloodsport's costume, that was a combination of Judiana coming up with the costume, me having to write all of the different things that the pieces do at different times, and our props guy Drew being able to come in and build those props for all those little pieces on his costume. So that took a lot of planning, and that couldn't happen if we all didn't have open discussions all the time. I'm also really open to listening to other people's ideas. It doesn't mean I don't always take them, but truly Judiana and Beth they're like my creative partners, and I'm with them a lot, and they're whispering things in my ear about, I don't really, people probably get upset, I don't really like that hair, it's not working for me, you know what? Because I've come to trust them over a long time now, and we really have an open communication with all of that stuff, and being able to make sure one vision for the film, that my vision is the same as Judiana's vision, is the same as Henry Bram's vision, the cinematographer is the same for Beth Mickles' vision, and we're all seeing the same movie before we ever make it.
There's going to be a lot of oh my God and a lot of oohs and whoa, did you see that? And I don't know, no, I don't believe that. You're going to get a lot of those too.
It touches upon all the essences of cinema, the spectacle, the carnival, the horror, the fun, the wit, the sadness, the music, it's the craziness. It's just a huge movie carnival coming to town.
That's what this movie is. It's right out of James Gunn's brain and into our movie houses, and they're gonna enjoy the heck out of it. And that's all I can ask for.
I know a couple fellas who have, dipped their foot in the superhero realms, and I said, "Hey, man, it's me, Nathan. Be honest. Got a guy. Is it goofy to do like bicep curls or chin ups on set?" And he was very honest with me. He said, "It is, yes, super duper goofy. It's really dumb, and everyone's gonna make fun of you, and rightly so. But it's going to be on film forever, so you kind of have to do it. So don't just suck it up, and you're going to have to do that. So yes, go do it." It was good, very actual, really helpful advice. It was very, very helpful.